Welcome to Fresh Take with IDDBA, your source for essential insights, trends, and professional growth in the dairy, deli, and bakery industries. I'm Kat Shanahan, Vice President of Marketing and Membership at IDDBA, and today we are coming live from the workshop stage in What's in Store Live at IDDBA 2026. I'm fortunate to be joined by a long-time veteran of What's in Store Live and the Director of Bakery, Deli, and Prepared Foods at Tops Market, Karri Zwirlein. Karri has been instrumental in helping design and deliver this year's What's in Store experience, and she is a staple in the IDDBA community. Welcome, Karri.
Thank you, Kat.
I'm very excited that we get to sit down and talk. Karri was the first member that I got to visit when I started at IDDBA, and so I've heard so much about your experience working with What's in Store Live. You've been on the podcast before, but for everybody in the room today, can you give us a little bit of a bio about you?
Sure. So I stumbled backwards into this career accidentally. I started when I was 19 as a cashier and worked my way up through the store. So I was in the stores for about 12 years as like a front-end manager, assistant store manager, etc. Then I became a deli bakery field specialist. Did that for about 8 years and then found myself in the merchandising office. So all of my career at Tops Markets and Northeast Shared Services, which is our parent company. It's been almost 34 years of doing this, and I've been with IDDBA. I've been a member of IDDBA for about 17 years, 18 years.
Wow.
And I think I've been part of What's in Store Live. I believe this is my 15th-ish, 14th, 15th What's in Store Live setup, and so I love coming for this part of the show.
Do you remember walking into the expo floor for your first show?
Yeah.
Do you remember what that was like?
Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. I started as a assistant category manager in like April of 2010, and then my boss at the time was like, "Oh, there's a show in June. You should come." And I was like, "Okay." And I came and I was like, "Whoa, this is intense," and happened to get like deathly ill with the flu, and I still drag my But then pretty shortly after that, I was connected with Vonnie Woods, who if you spend any time in Deli Bakery, you know who Vonnie Woods is. She is a goddess and a pioneer. And I was lucky enough to have her as a mentor, and she got me invited to an event at IDDBA, and I very, very quickly realized that this was an organization I needed to be involved in. And so I went to Jeremy Johnson, and I said, "Put me somewhere, do something with me." And of course, he was like, "Oh, yeah, you're going to show and sell," because we need all the help we can get sometimes. And so I've been part of it ever since, other than the 2 years during COVID when it got canceled, which was sad, but I've been doing it ever since then, and it's a bit addictive, actually.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, because this is no small feat.
No.
I mean, we're sitting in a 1,200 square foot retail space on a trade show floor. The planning and the preparation for this started at least a year-ish ago.
It's the IDDBA staff and teams work night and day during the show, and then they take a few days off afterward, well-deserved. And so come September, we really dig in. And I know there's pre-work that the IDDBA team does before that, but come September at our annual business meeting, we do a What's in Store Live concept committee that comes in, and I'm honored to be part of that committee, where we talk about what's trending, what we want to show in this space every year. And we start planning out those concepts and working with our teams to communicate out what those concepts are so they can start churning ideas out. So that starts September, and then we bring all the teams together in January and really get down to it. And then it's just planning from January right up until the day we get here.
Now, what is it like to plan so far in advance for trends that are going to be impactful at the show? I'm assuming you have to leave some space for things that are new, things that come up. What does that kind of September on planning look like?
Yeah, September is more of a just concepts. So this year we did something very different we've not done before, where we don't have all the bakery in one section, all the deli and prepared foods in another. We've kind of mixed them together to show how you can cross-merchandise the two departments. And so that's a concept that we talked about back in September. And then all the concepts you see around here, like lighten the load or healthy-ish indulgence, all those are concepts we decided are trending, they're important. We need our retailers to show those things. We need our manufacturers to offer those options. And so we go searching for those items. And if we don't get those sponsors, we go chase them.
I got to experience what it was like to be in What's in Store Live as we are preparing for this show. And controlled chaos is the only thing that comes to mind. What is it like the couple of days leading up to the show, getting all of this ready?
Yeah. Sometimes it's uncontrolled chaos, but imagine if you can walking in here on Wednesday and none of this is here. It's all just wooden crates. If you've never had the opportunity to do that, it's astounding to see how fast this comes up. Like, it's literally just bare cement floor, wooden crates everywhere, and none of this is here. It's fascinating to watch how quickly it turns into what it is when you walk in the door at 11 o'clock on Sunday morning. It's overwhelming when you first come in, but our team, we have such a great team, both volunteers made up of retailers, manufacturers, brokers, but the IDDBA team as well. I would tell you that this is the best prepared year we've had this year.
Well, that's great to hear.
Is amazing because so much of the education team is new this year. So
Absolutely.
Fresh eyes make a difference.
Yes, and there were a lot of fresh smells back there too. I came in, I was here for a little bit while we were setting things up. I came back a few hours later and there were just racks of freshly baked cookies and bread and all sorts of amazing desserts. I've never in my life been to an in-development trade show that smelled so good. It was amazing.
Yeah, we were just talking about that gentleman over here that was saying he does a lot of trade shows, but this one's like 4D because you can smell all the smells.
Yes.
And I'm sure our smells are much better than other trade show smells. I can only
Absolutely.
imagine.
That's going to be next year's slogan. We smell better.
We smell better. We need stickers. Yeah.
Is there a specific trend that you're really proud of this year? Something hiding in and amongst these display cases that these attendees need to check out?
I'm partial to lighten the load because that was my trend.
Not biased at all.
I was coordinating, but lighten the load I think speaks to a lot of people right now with our busy lives and having to, run kids from here and there, and you're, two income households. Everybody's got a job, and then they're running children or pets or elderly family members, whatever. Everybody's got stuff going on, and so anything to make people's lives easier at the end of the day to get their, everybody fed. I think that is a very important trend that I don't see going away anytime soon.
I agree. Is there something from a past show that you've implemented at Tops, something that you've seen here that you've brought back and implemented?
I think lots of things, lots of little things. Maybe not big overall concepts, but you'll see just like a package of something. You're like, that's a great idea. We're going to take that back. So one example I think would be the deconstructed cupcake, where it's a cupcake and then it's got the icing and the sprinkles, and we do that with cutout cookies. We do that with a lot of things because people want to do those activities with friends or family or kids or whatever, but they don't want to spend all that time mixing sugar cookie dough and then cutting them out, rolling them out, then baking them. Then by the time you get them baked, you're like, I'm exhausted. I'm done. So This is an easy way we can do it at the store, but they still get the fun part. They get to do the fun part.
Well, and I love that too because I don't bake very much. I like to think that I do, but I don't. And if there's one thing that just irritates me more than anything else, it's having to throw away food or ingredients, something that I didn't use. And so to buy an entire bag of flour or sugar and to have that and not use it and have to get rid of it kind of destroys part of the baking experience. So that kind of helps mitigate that as well.
Yeah, and if you decorate the cupcake, you made it. Like, those are the rules.
That's the only way I make it.
Yeah.
So as As you're looking around, as you're trying to decide what are those things that are a trend, what are those things that are really going to come back into the store, do you have some sort of a litmus test for what makes it into your retail locations versus what's just a cool thing that you've seen on the show floor?
Yeah, that's the tricky part, I think, is what's a fad versus a trend, and there's a lot of fads. It's hard to know it's hard to get ahead of those fads, but you have to be able to get into if it's a fad, you have to get into it quickly.
Yeah.
Or it's too late, right? So it sounds silly to say, but I spend a lot of time on TikTok because that's where it's coming from right now. And we have to see, I mean, everybody remembers the feta thing that happened, I don't know, 5 years ago. And it was like, you see this, you look at the sales and the feta just right through the roof. So what is the next feta? Right now it's dot cakes. And like you said, when we were planning in January, dot cakes weren't a thing. And now they are, but we got them out here. So to me, that's a fad, not a trend necessarily. Trend to me is more the protein thing, like trying to get protein in every meal. That's more widespread, longer lasting. And I can't really explain why it is or what makes me think that, but you just know it from just how many people are impacted by it.
Yeah.
I think at the moment. So the protein thing is definitely one to watch and get into as soon as you can, because that's going to be around for a while.
Well, and I think one of the things as you were talking that came to mind for me is the applicability across different departments. So you oversee several departments, deli, bakery, prepared foods. How do you break down the silos between those departments to get them thinking about building full meal solutions?
Yeah, I'd have to say that is one of the things that Tops Markets does really well. They've always, for many, many years, have been very good at cross-merchandising throughout the store. So the produce teams work with the bakery teams, and you'll find, and Price Chopper Market 32 does a great job as well, and a lot of retailers do. But you just know that a customer is going to buy strawberries. You're gonna influence them to buy biscuits, or you're going to influence them to buy an angel food cake to go with it, so they can have a dessert. We do a lot of cross merchandising in the meat department with specialty cheese for gourmet burgers and things like that. So we just all work really well together because we try to think as much as we can as a shopper. And if I'm buying steaks or burgers, what do I want to go with it? And I want it to be easy. And so just adding a couple dollars to every single shopping cart makes a difference.
I mean, the marketer in me is very happy right now because that's what we like to try to do, right? We try to think about the consumer, what's going to make things easier for them, what's going to make it more accessible, more convenient, because shoppers don't necessarily want to go to 3, 4, 5 different places. Alton Brown was talking about that this morning, that you're buying...
I don't.
Exactly. I don't want to have to go someplace to buy one thing and then someplace to buy another thing. So making it convenient and still giving shoppers the variety that they're looking for in one location and making that something that's attainable for them.
Yeah, with the price of gas right now, nobody wants to, there are people who have lots of time and want to go to 4 different places, but that's absolutely not me. And I think in this day and age with the price of fuel, that's happening less and less. So we need to make it easy for people. And I'm one of those people that if I'm walking through the store, I'm like, oh, I want to make tacos this week, and then I'm like, I didn't write any of this down. So if it's merchandised together, that makes my life easier, so I'm not running back from the register to go buy lettuce because I didn't plan.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned, gas being a challenge for consumers. For retailers, labor is a big challenge. So as you're thinking about designs, displays, different products and things that are trendy for retail locations, how are you balancing that with the labor it takes to implement some of that?
We're going through that right now, right? We are working on a project right now where unfortunately, the skilled trades are not as readily available. So cake decorators, for example, or even like meat cutters, those are a skilled trade. So we're looking at what is the labor budget that the operators have and backing into the program. So for Tops Markets, decorating cakes in store is very important to us. So that's going to take a priority for how that labor works. So then where can we ease up in other areas by doing either partially finished or fully finished items, but never, ever sacrificing quality. Like I shouldn't say never, but I'm going to say I'll never do a puff pastry pre-done thaw and sell, because it does not, in my opinion, sorry everybody, but in my opinion, the quality is not the same as fresh baked, and that's important to me, is quality has to come first.
Are there other staples like that you run through in your mind as you're looking at this? I mean, quality is great. Is there something else that helps you make those tough decisions?
I mean, cost is always a good, it is what it is. Quality first, then cost is second, because we want to have a value for the customer. But if you're putting something out at a price point to drive people to buy it, but it's not good enough that they're going to buy it a second time, there's no point in having it at that dirt cheap price. There's no point, because you're only going to get a one and done. So
absolutely. So I want to go back to What's in Store Live now that we're here and we're experiencing it. You've dedicated a lot of personal time to IDDBA over the years. Why do you think it's important for retailers to do that and engage with the organization or with What's in Store Live?
So IDDBA means a lot to me personally. It was a place when I first came into this area. It was a place where I felt valued as a retailer. I felt like I was an expert. I felt a little bit of imposter syndrome, to be honest, because I've been at my organization for 34 years. So in my head, I'm only as good as they taught me to be. But did that translate to other areas? I don't know. But then I walked in here, and everybody's so welcoming, but also they were like, "That's a great idea. Look at that display you built. That's amazing. What a great job." And I'm like, "Me?" So not only was it affirming, but I've got lifelong friends that I've made in this space that I see every year. Can't wait to see them. But when I come across a challenge at work, I can reach out to them and be like, and it's somebody on the other coast. And I can be like, "Are you having this problem?" We don't compete, but we are, sometimes we can compete, but here we don't compete. We are teammates. And it just gives you, I don't know if I can actually verbalize how much being part of this organization and this team means to me. And I think it's important to bring new people in. So I have several members of my team here that I bring in, and some of them come and they do a few years, and then we switch out and bring somebody else. But every single one says that they've gotten so much out of it. But I think it makes us all better. We learn from each other, and we go back energized, and we go back with new ideas. And I used to be out in the stores all the time. I mean, I was a field specialist, so I would do this all the time. And then when I went in the office, and I'm at a desk, and I'm looking at a monitor all day, and in a meeting, this is the 1 week of the year where I have my hands in the product, in the merchandise. And so I feel like it keeps me grounded to what we're doing. Like it keeps me in touch with what's happening out there. I see products I've never seen. I just think it makes me a better merchandiser overall.
I feel like that's and I'm so glad you've said that about IDDBA. Obviously, the marketer in me is just jumping for joy. We have testimonials to use for the next year. But I feel like that's what I've loved most about the associations I've been part of and the shows that I go to is it almost feels like therapy when you are in the room with people who understand you, who collaborate with you, who can brainstorm with you, who tell you that you're not crazy when you're thinking these things and having these challenges. That's my favorite part as well. So this is my first show, my first IDDBA.
Yeah.
I've been collecting tips and tricks, and I have a list. What do I need to make sure that I do before I leave tomorrow? I have less than 24 hours before the show closes.
Oh, you definitely, you have to go look at Caked, because some of the most talented decorators in the country are over there, and that you so impressive because they're all their ideas. It's not something we said, here, you have to make this. So they are inspiring others to do that, and it really is a craft. So you have to go see Caked, but it is it's something to see, and you can watch them finish their creations over there, and it is really amazing. I was talking to one of the decorators earlier, and he said he's just having so much fun doing it, which to me, I'm like, I don't know if I could do that kind of pressure. But if you're having fun, that's what matters. So
I've had every employee I've ever had tell me they absolutely love it when I walk behind them and stare at them while they work. So I know that.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
That's what I feel for the cake decorators. Like, we're coming over, we're micromanaging, we're in there, but it is every time I go over there, there's a new piece, a new cupcake, a new cake that's out there, and it just looks amazing. That's a great
they're
suggestion.
very impressive.
Fast forward a year, you and I are back here doing the same thing again. What trend do you think we're going to be talking about?
Oh God.
Or fad. It could be a fad.
If I had a crystal ball. Let's see. I think it's going to get more demanding on people's time, and we're going to be more and more into what's done and ready to go. Ready to go is going to be the thing. There's going to be more of that protein health stuff, and how can you make it even easier to get the protein and the healthy stuff and taste good. And I mean, every year these suppliers come out with better and better tasting products that you wouldn't know is actually healthy for you. So
yes,
I think we'll be focusing a lot on that. And I think it's going to be a lot of smaller portions and a lot of single serve, which we've touched on over here, but I think that's going to get more and more affordable, quick, and single portions is going to continue to trend, I think.
I think you're right. I think one of the conversations I've had with a lot of people is we never feel like eating the same thing. And so going out to a restaurant is becoming more and more challenging because somebody wants pizza and somebody wants tacos and somebody wants something else. So we say, well, let's just go to the grocery store and you all can pick out something and we will sit down and we will have dinner together. And so I'm excited to see more variations on that coming out so that we're not losing the let's have dinner together and not having to create new rules for our family. When I'm with my parents now, I hope they never listen to this, but when I'm with them now, if they veto a dinner suggestion, they have to come up with another one. That's the only way you can say no. You can say no, like I don't want tacos, but then you have to come up with something else.
I like that.
This is what we've had to do in order to keep up with the changes and what everybody wants to eat. So I love walking into a grocery store and saying, all right, everyone go pick something out. We're going to go back, we're going to sit down, and we're going to have a nice meal together.
So I don't remember what year it was, but years ago, pre-COVID, we did like a food court concept over here in What's in Store Live because it was
fun.
Everybody wants something different. So, but we still want to eat together. So it's you go here and get this, and you go over there and get that, and then we meet at the table and we still eat together. But everybody got what they wanted. So maybe we can see more of that in the future.
I love that. What do you hope people leave What's in Store Live with this year? Once they exit the space, what do you hope they take away?
It's always that we all of us on the team, we always hope that you leave inspired with at least a few ideas that you can actually implement in your store. Years and years and years ago, we would go a little, in my opinion, unrealistic. So I think that over the past 6 years or so, we've really brought it to a point where it's unique and it's different and it's inspiring, but it's still implementable, if that's even a word. But with the labor challenges that we all have, we always have to keep that in mind. But bakery and deli and prepared foods is a way to differentiate yourself from your competition. So you just have to pick what's really going to set you apart from your direct competition and invest that time in there. I also hope that you leave wondering how we did all this. And then you ask how you can be part of the team, because it really is one of the most fulfilling things I've done in my entire career, and have met people that I will forever be friends with. And I think that every member of the team gets something different out of it, and it's helping to build careers, even though it's not with their employer here. They're going back, and their employer is seeing growth in those people that are part of the team. So I think it's very worthwhile.
I've been here since Tuesday. I saw them put this together, and I still don't know how they did it. I left for a couple hours. I came back, and there's food, and everything smells amazing. Any last pieces of advice for our listeners today?
Yeah, just participate. Get out there. Get in here. Call us, email us, find out how you can be on a committee, on What's in Store Live, participate in and take advantage of all the things that IDDBA has to offer. We're known for the show, but there's so much more that is available, and it's important to me that we bring new people into IDDBA, not just in What's in Store Live, but also in our committees and things that we work on, because this industry is aging, and not everyone thinks that grocery store is a career, but it's a great career. I've had so many adventures in my life because of my career, because of IDDBA, and I think that we owe it to the next generation to tell them and convince them that this is a great way to have a career, live a life, have a family, and be able to support your family and have a great time. I mean, everybody's got to eat, so why not participate in that industry, but also in this organization. It's life-changing, honestly.
We are incredibly lucky to have you as part of this community. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today.
Thank you.
As a reminder, Fresh Take with IDDBA drops 2 episodes a month on the first and third Tuesdays. To make sure you don't miss an episode, hit the subscribe button on your favorite podcast platform. And thank you guys so much for joining us for this recording of Fresh Take with IDDBA.